Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm Belinda with Just Be Yoga, and let's come on and make ourselves comfortable and get ready to come into our virtual studio for our totally real yoga. I'm Belinda with Just Be Yoga, and this is our home yoga practice live. I am really honored to be able to come into whatever environment that you're in and join you to practice connecting within as best we can and learning how to do it on our own and at home with a little bit of guidance. And if I can offer some guidance, great. This is intended to hopefully give folks some tools, some tips toward creating a space at home and understanding the intention of what we're doing as well as the what. I think we get caught up in the what. Where should I put my foot? What are the different ways that I should move? But if we can stay connected to the intention, the why, oftentimes the rest will come naturally because the yoga is connecting within yourself. So I'm arriving here today in a comfortable seated space, knowing that I am greatly distracted. And I'm sure that this will resonate with a lot of us. Arriving on our mat distracted, and maybe that distraction even prevents us from coming to our mat at all. I'm arriving at the mat distracted because someone who is really close to me and is also a part of our yoga community, the studio yoga community, is positive and with COVID and ill. And I am really working on finding my own regulation within that, my own self-regulation. Noticing how distracted my mind is, how concerned I am, and how that really affects my ability to focus. So the combat is between the desire to show care and actually wish that the reality was not what the reality is. So that last one is pretty futile. I can't keep spending energy wishing for something that is to not be. It's an expensive energy. And then that's a logical space that I can't fix. My little Rubik's Cube brain is just going to keep trying to make something be that is not be that is. What I can be with is sitting in a true acknowledgement of what's going on in my own emotions. And my own emotions feel a little helpless, feel sad, feel concerned. So I know that that's what is residing inside of me as I come onto my mat. And that is showing up physically in a little sluggishness, a little bit like I don't want to move. I would rather go and do something for someone else rather than be here and do something for me. And I share that on a two-pronged reason. Number one, for us to maybe, if it helps you kind of see like, oh, and that's how you can show up on your mat still feeling that way. Yep. As well as to ask for all of us to share, hopefully with some loving kindness intention to send out for our Sangha member, our community member, for healing, for well-being, and for peace as they're healing. I can't imagine how anxious or afraid that I would be if I contracted this horrible virus that is plaguing our country right now. All right. So that is a huge part. Journaling down, which I've already journaled today, journaling down truly, okay, what's going on and how am I wearing it in my physical body? And then I'm going to listen to that body and not over push it because it needs some consoling and some tenderness, not an aggressive beat it up. So I'm going to try to remind myself of that because I can tend to shift into overdrive a lot and I'll overspend. And my overdrive can be a way of me not really wanting to feel what's here. I'm choosing to feel an intensity that's over there. So I'm trying to find a healthy balance. All right. You're going to find your way. I'm going to make suggestions on poses and modifications on those poses. And then you're getting to play out how often you want to do it, how long you want to hold, whether you want to come to resting spaces. All right. I am going to take my... No, I think I'm going to keep them on. I'm going to try to keep these glasses on, you all. Try to remind me to keep the glasses on, please. All right. Well, good morning. I'm Belinda once again with Just Be Yoga, and this is our home yoga practice live, working on noticing what is truly going on, holding ourselves accountable for our intention. I've shared a bit of my own scan, my internal mental, emotional, and physical body scan, and I will work within that in asana, yoga poses, breath, noticing how my breath is interacting in my body, how my body is interacting in my breath, and then how my mind is interacting in the body and the breath. Please notice that I am saying interacting. I'm not saying that the mind is controlling the body. I'm not saying that the mind is controlling the breath. They are interrelated and interconnected, and they're here to listen and share how they're truly feeling with one another. So, good morning. And we will get started today in child's pose. Please have a blanket, maybe a block or a stack of books or a chair, and possibly a cushion or a couple of extra pillows. We won't be super aggressive today. I would like to try to find a nice even balance. Again, cueing into, oh, that's what I know that I need, not me getting into a performance mindset in my practice. And that's just what I'm sharing today. There might be times in your life, in your practice, and maybe that's now, where you are working on, you know what? Nope, I want to develop X or Y. I'm working on arm balances. I'm working on whatever. Great. Today's home yoga practice live may not have all of the nuggets that you need to help you advance toward that cause. But hopefully there might be some nuggets in here that might help work on regulating this space with this space. And that's what I'm sharing here today. All righty, let's come to our hands and knees. Finding child's pose. I am going to play a little bit of music today. So let's sink back into our heels. Invite the body to start to share its wisdom. And feel the mind receiving that information, not fighting the information. And actually, my mind is fighting the information. My mind doesn't want to know just how tired my shoulders are. So I'm breathing with that truth and just letting it seep in slowly, giving the body and the mind the time to really accept the truth, because acceptance takes time, yeah? We'll walk the arms and the upper body over to the right, just starting to invite some bending and flowing, kind of reminding the body that it can go with the flow. Bending and flowing help toward acceptance. And then gradually make our way over to the other side. So now you're getting to choose how long you need these holds to be. So feel free at any point in time to stop and hold. Join in for the components you want to join in for. Now come on back to center. Knees wide allows more space for the torso and the belly. Also may help connect with what's going on in the low back. Now I'm just twisting my rib cage very gently. Again, inviting myself to have a little bit of fluidity. Fluid movements reminding me to go with the flow and not get stuck, not get rigid. Which when I get into a fearful thinking space, I tend to freeze. And I'm a freezer, not a, well, you get what I'm saying. But instead of the fight, flight, freeze response, I know that I'm a freeze. Let's breathe in and shift it forward. Notice how the arms are prepared to hold and support me, and then fluidly coming on back and bringing it up and bringing it back. And just start to scan your mind. Notice what your mind is saying to you as you're coming through this. Maybe it's saying kind things. Maybe it's saying mean or judgmental things. I'm resisting. My mind is like, let's just get up and go already. Let's just get this over with already. And I'm just trying to allow this to slow down, to remind my mind it can slow down. It can be right here. Whatever is happening later today, in 30 minutes, in 40 minutes, it'll be there. And I am worthy of this attention in this time and space. I'm shifting it forward. I'm going to find my way to a nice tabletop, even balance. Feeling even balance. Not asking my upper body to do more work than my lower body. And my upper body is my default. My upper body is like, oh yeah, I've got this. And so an even distribution of feeling and working. I'm just shifting left and right. Again, I'm letting you know that I'm doing more of this fluid bendiness because I know that I want to stay in a space of growing some acceptance, and going with the flow just doesn't let me get stuck on any one space. Just kind of accepting things the way they are as they're shifting. I'll come to a neutral space, gentle bowing and flexing of the spine. I'm not trying to force the biggest bow or the biggest flex. Again, feeling moderation and acceptance because I know that I am already at an emotionally taxing space. So I don't need to add more intensity. Life has taken care of that. And then find a neutral space. Continue doing that if you wish. And maybe you want a really intense bow and flex. Start to notice the muscles that are doing that work. Notice your mind. I'm going to reach the left leg back, right arm forward. And bring it in, elbow to knee. Inhaling it forward. I'm still not going to my max on any of these. Softly curling it in. And actually, just there, I had to resist that super crunch. So I'm kind of making sure I can find my way in a moderate, soft, gentle way with myself, knowing that I can feel my strength without it being at an extreme. And then come to neutral, switching it out. Left arm, right leg, breath. And bringing it in. So we're just flowing back and forth. You determine your pace. And just start to observe what's going on. What's the right arm doing? What regions of the right arm? The shoulders, the hips, the heel, the calves. Trying to hopscotch through the body. So that the hopscotching also just makes us aware of the whole terrain of the body. Sometimes when we're systematic about going from toes to heel to ankle, we become really rigid in that as well. So today I'm just really trying to say, okay, be more moderate, Belinda, and reach. And I'll bring that left hand down, right knee down. I'm going to lengthen the left leg back. Pull the knee in, out, up, and back. Fluid hip circles. Noticing the breath. And I think that a mantra for myself today is, this is enough. I am enough. And just letting that be the mantra, it really helps me remember when I'm getting into my intense spaces to back it up, change direction. This is enough. I am enough. The amount of energy I have to give right now is enough. And I'm going to step this left foot up. Remember what we did yesterday, noticing how we place that foot down. Right hand down, twisting, breathing in. Exhale, left hand down. Let's step the left knee back. Hip rotations on the other side. So reaching that right leg, feeling that extension. Knee to belly, out and up and back. You choose the mantra that's for you. I am not in any way trying to make the stuff that I'm working on in my inner terrain yours. I only share so that you can kind of see like, oh, that's an example of what's going on and how to use our yoga, creating our intention, the why of the practice, not the what. We can become so fixated on the what, change direction. My intention here is to notice, okay, where am I? What's the emotional garbage that's holding me back today? That's creating a little hiccup in my system. And what does that mean? What do I need? I need a little bit more moderation, a little forgiveness. I'm going to step that right foot up and just feel myself accepting this lighter, smoother, go with the flow. It feels like a little hug on my insides. And I'm going to twist and revolve, but I'm still moving, right? I'm still flowing through. I'm going to bring my right hand down. Step the right knee back. Feel that intention. And let's find child's pose. You choose your child's pose. I'm going to flip the palms, reversing the rotation in those upper arms. I'm going to have, say, 5 to 8 breaths here, observing in the quietude. The quiet and the stillness are the canvas of our awareness. Notice the quality of your breath. Ask your breath to tell you the story it wants to tell you. Listen to the body and the story it wants to tell you. I'm going to flip the palms, making my way up to hands and knees, shifting it forward and shifting it back. Now this time I'm going to shift it forward, tuck the toes and straighten the legs plank. Butt goes up, head goes down, down dog. Now the bottom body doesn't have to be straight. So if you want to straight, bend those knees a little, bend those knees, especially if you're new here. Really want everybody to start to own, this is your body. You get to wear it the way you need to. There are no you have to's here. That's a part of us just finding some ownership as we occupy our bodies as an occupant. You are an occupant of this body. You're not the boss of it. Let's breathe in, pushing the hips up, releasing the top of the head down. Exhale it forward to plank. Now I'm just going to roll it forward to a plank with my legs straight. If you want to bring your knees down, go ahead. Lifting the hips up, dropping the head down. And what's interesting, I started getting a really pinchy feeling in my right hand, in the joints of my right thumb. So I don't know where that distribution was, so I'm just adjusting my palms right now. And I'm going to roll it back forward and observe. Observe where I'm distributing my weight. Yeah, I was a little imbalanced there, so my thumb talked to me and I heard it. And I'm going to lift the hips up and back, sliding. Letting the head go, lifting the hips up. I'm the occupant of this body, and the body is telling me how it wants to be occupied. Breathe in. Let's lift. Build awareness of the waist, the ribs, the belly button here. And then roll the spine forward. Maybe you're done with this. Maybe you need to come down for child's pose or hands and knees. Breathe. Good. We're going to lower down to our bellies. First time feeling the belly and the front of the body on the earth. So I'm just going to turn my head to one side. Feeling that acceptance that this is enough. I'm feeling a little resistance in my heart and my spirit that this is enough. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like I must be needing to be doing more. More. Feeling my breath, saying that this moment in time is enough because you know what? This is all I have. All of those future moments that I'm imagining, they may never come. So I'm trying to remind myself to live as fully as I can with this moment because this is the moment I get. I just felt something soften in between my shoulder blades, in my neck, as I had the patience to find that acceptance and let it seep into me. I've got my head turned to the left. I'm going to slide the left knee up and just feel that hip opening. When we come into the hip area, we really start to invite an awareness of some more emotional space, more of a sensory and sensual feeling. And I'm not talking about like romantic love, all of the range of emotions that we have, but that they also include our sensory and sensual nature. What's getting stimulated and awakened here? Can we allow it? Now I'm going to see about straightening this left leg. Now we're all going to have a different degree to straighten that left leg out. It's building an awareness of the front of my groin. Just a slight tension, a little tightness. Seeing if my breath wants to come down there. Is my body receiving the breath there? Do I believe I can breathe there, that my breath is of any benefit to me there? And now my mind just said, oh yeah, shut up thinking, Belinda. Right, we're here to feel. I'm going to bend that left knee. I'm going to prop myself up on my forearms. Push down through the forearms and lift the chest so I'm in Sphinx in my upper body. Whoa, and I'm really feeling a little bit here in my low back, my right hip. A little bit of the organs in the low abdomen. And loving just the simple nuance of what I get to feel here. Not my deepest stretch, doesn't feel like anything is ripping apart, but something is going on. Now I'm going to slide the back of my right shoulder blade onto the mat and just peel that left arm open. Ooh, it's really early in practice, so this twist can feel a little extreme, at least in my body that's waking up this morning. If you need to put a pillow under that left arm, go ahead. Maybe remember and recall your intention for your practice. Why are you here? Are you really listening to what your body is telling you, different regions? Are you listening to what your breath is telling you, how it wants to move, where it wants to go? And then what's your mind, your spirit, what are your emotions telling you? Be here, soak up this moment. Maybe repeat your mantra to yourselves. For me, my practice today is about moderation and accepting the truth of what's going on, not wishing the things that are true to be different, and still being able to emanate love for myself and for others. My low back just let me twist just a little bit more here. So I feel like, the body is accepting accepting the truth and letting some real feeling in. For me, I hold tension as blocking from feeling what's really going on. And so when I do get to release some tension, it's letting more feeling in. Yay, right? And I'm going to gently roll out if you want to stay in it. Remember, this is your practice. I'm just offering suggestions and tips for ways to be having a little bit of time, a little bit of breath to let the spine uncoil there, releasing the energy, letting go of what was stagnant. And I'll slide that left leg back. I'm going to do a middle neutral Sphinx, having those forearms down, elbows under the shoulders, relaxing the bottom body and my spine. I like to do a little wiggle here, just making sure I'm not tensing, pressing down through the forearms, lifting up, offering a little bit of space for the upper chest. The part of the chest that moves the least because it has a great big cage around it. But just reminding the body that we are pliable, we are flexible and fluid, going with this flow. I'm going to work the chin up and down, encouraging my communication center, this throat and this neck, to be fluid in what it needs to say, in what it is hearing and listening. There are so many ranges of ways to speak, in ways to hear and listen. I'm here to listen to my body, to listen to my breath, and turn off the thinking, listening to my spirit. I'm going to lower myself down and slide this right knee up, feeling this hip. Maybe let yourselves make a sound and just feel the vibration through your flesh. And the more we can feel that vibration, the more we're tapping into letting the tissue let stuff go through us, permeate us, not get stuck there. And then if your body's open to it, straightening that right leg. So spacious. And actually this right side is just really inviting this movement a lot more than the left. I'm just going with it. I don't want to analyze it, just going with it. Going with the yum of it. You could do a few pelvic tilts here, very gentle and subtle. Noticing what's connected to what's encouraging movement. Feel your breath. How are we practicing acceptance here? And I'm going to bend that knee once again and bring the forearms down under me. Pushing down through the forearms, seeing how high up my chest wants to move, how my hips, which are connected to this movement, are accepting or fighting or freezing. Breathe. Maybe neck left and right, keeping that fluid go with the flow. Let the breath remind you to go with the flow. I'm remembering I don't want to go to the max of any turn, of any twist, of any lift. This is enough. I am enough. Good. Now I'm going to thread the needle here, bringing as much of the back of that left shoulder down. If you're ready to join, or if you want to do this twist at all, come on and join. If you want to do it later, do it later. Maybe there's something that you're connecting with, having a conversation with elsewhere. But it's your conversation to have. Start to notice your senses now and again. It helps bring you into the present moment. What information is your sense of sight delivering to you? spectrum of light and color. And when you let that in, what lets go in your physical body because your attention is now higher up in the light spectrum? About the breath spectrum and the sense of smell. Sense of touch, that's a real big swath of information. Hearing and listening. Taste. Don't ignore taste. Under the tongue, on top of the tongue, deep in the throat, the insides of the lips deliver olfactory information. And sometimes all we're aware of is bitter or sour or acrid. We're like, I don't really feel a flavor. No, but it's still information. A gentle sweetness in our saliva. One more breath. Gradually coming on back down onto the belly. Finding a little rest as we're releasing that energy. Feeling the areas of the spine and the hips that are releasing it. Be aware of your senses. What's asking you to slow down and savor? What's telling you don't slow down too much or you'll just let go of practicing altogether? I'm going to slide that right leg back. I'm going to bring the palms alongside my waist, resting my forehead. And then press down and lift for Cobra. Different energy of lifting. I'm standing on these arms in a different way, letting the hips stay on the earth, feeling the spine being nice and fluid, and pressing my way to hands and knees, child's pose. Maybe explore more lengthening, more space. More space for feeling, more space for occupying and living in this flesh. More space for breath, more space for our mind to occupy the body. Let's walk our way over to the right, coming back to the beginning of practice. Maybe change the positioning of your hands. What's changed in the body? Is there a different area that's moving or stretching? And then over to the other side. Breathe. Bringing our way back to center. We'll come forward to hands and knees, shifting forward. Maybe eyes closed as we shift back and forth. What are we noticing? What are we needing? What are we willing to listen to and go off of my script? Go to your own space. Realizing you don't need to ask permission to be. And that's what we're here to do. Be. Less doing, more being. And we'll come up to a neutral space if you're joining us. Tabletop, I've walked my knees in. A few cat and cows. I'm going to remind myself of my mantra right now, my intention. Why am I here? What am I connecting with? And I'm noticing I'm not pushing so hard in those hands anymore. My low belly and my low spine are doing a little bit more movement, a little bit more sensory action. I'm going to root in the left arm, twist in the right, finding the stopping point softly. And bringing the right hand down, rooting and twisting. I'm going to close my eyes here as we go back and forth. Left hand down, eventually twisting to the right. Feeling my hips and my waist. I'm not even straightening that upper arm. I'm just keeping the elbow bent and noticing what I'm feeling in my ribs, my chest, areas that we're actually kind of frozen, and this is just starting to work it out, asking for some movement without demanding. And that's where I need to be. Now, if you want to pause and hold, pause and hold. I'm going to stay in a fluid space myself. And if you're pausing and holding, notice what you're rooting in and what's actually still moving in the twist, right? You've got multiple energies going on, even if you feel like you're being still, but you're not. You're experiencing that energy kind of accumulate within us. We still got to let it flow through us. Use the breath to let it flow. And then if you've held on one side, try to hold on the other. I'm flowing still. Maybe you've done the child's pose because you've had enough of this. I'm trying to be kind to my neck and my shoulders. I'm noticing tension starting to accumulate there. And if you've held on the other side, we can come to a neutral space. Right arm, left leg lift, elbow to knee, and reach. Some of you might notice we were in this sequence earlier, so we're flowing through it. What's changed? What's changed in your awareness? What's changed in your physical body, in the muscles, in your breath? And we're going to switch. Left arm, right leg, fluid movement. And at the same time, I'm starting to ask myself, am I experiencing the fullness of the extension without it having to be rigid? Now that time, my right leg did way more than my left arm. So I'm trying to say, hey, can I experience equal energy where my upper body is doing as much as the bottom body, and the bottom body isn't feeling like it has to do it all. I'm just feeling that collaboration within me. And noticing what's hard about it. Right now, my leg is still saying, I got this. And it's okay. I'm just going to accept that this is where I am right now and accept what I got to observe and learn. And bring the hands down. Left leg lengthens back, pulling the knee and hip circle. What are you engaging in your senses right now? Are you in your optical space? Are you choosing eyes opened or closed? What are you hearing? What are you tasting, smelling? Change direction. What are you feeling in your sense of touch as your clothing is moving, as your body is moving? What areas of the body are feeling, clothing, moving? Stepping that left foot up, right hand down, no rush. Revolving, twisting, breathing. Good. I'm going to bring the left hand down inside of the left inner thigh. You might want to block here. And you could tuck the back toes and straighten the back leg. Sinking in the hips, pulling the chest up. This is the biggest, broadest movement. How open can I be? And I was just kind of sharing, like I'm working on, okay, I want to be honest about that emotional space and not be in that frozen space. I'm going to bring this right knee down. I'm going to step my left knee back. Lengthen that right leg back. Breath, feel it, and flow. Hip circles. You can exaggerate those circles as much as you want. I want to feel my body's feeling way more lubricated too. And so that moves the feeling rather from some really tight locus. Right now my waist is more involved. It isn't just in that hip socket. Kind of share the emotions all around, changing direction. How expressive can we be? Increasing my vocabulary of what it is that I'm feeling and how it wants to be expressed. So it's a sensory vocabulary. Stepping that right foot up, left hand down. Maybe you're still doing hip circles. Maybe you're like, hey, I'm learning some vocabulary. Breathe open. Gonna bring the hands down. Maybe have a block. I'm not going to use it on this side. Tuck the back toes, straighten the back leg. Feel each toe. Feel your calves, your heels, your ankles. Maybe squeeze inner thighs. How much of the front of you wants to be seen? And bring that left knee down. Stepping that right leg back. Feel your intention. Palms shoulder width apart. Tucking the toes. Lifting the hips. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. Exhale, shifting it forward to plank. And lifting the hips, dropping the head down. And back to plank. Remember, I was wanting to be fluid for me to be able to go with the flow and accept. The more we bend, the more we curve, the more we encourage the body to find that fluidity, that constant change that is in bending. It helps connect into that emotional space, that let go of that rigid thought, that rigid feeling. I'm not saying it's going to all go away. I wish it was a magic wand that way. But we're embodying, moving, acceptance, going with that flow, states of change. All is constantly changing. I'm going to bring the right knee down, step the left foot up, step the right foot up, rolling the spine up. Breathing in as we're lifting and lengthening. What are we letting in here? Not just what are we reaching toward. What are you letting in right now? What's a feeling you are allowing in, and where? Breathe in, offer the heart. Exhale, bringing it forward. We're going to roll the spine back up. Fluid flow. Lifting your head last. And then embody in that reach what you're allowing inside of you. What are you drawing in? And then breathe out as you flow down and surrender. Surrender to what we're truly feeling. And then rolling the spine up. Feel your legs, your hips, your back, your organs, your chest. Breath, let it in. Anything that's tight isn't letting something in. And roll it forward. We're going to keep flowing, so you choose your pace. You choose when you're done. You could just hold in mountain if you're done. You could hold folded forward when you're done. Do you know? Have you just ever just let yourselves come to that pause naturally? What is enough? What does enough feel like? How are we building our awareness of enough within us? I'm going to reach and lift, finding this to be enough, and soften. Feeling my reaching without it becoming rigid. Softening my kneecaps, my hips, my buttocks, my diaphragm for breath. A little bit of a back bend or heart lift, hips forward, chest and belly, aspire upward, shoulders remaining soft, gaze going up, finding that breath, trusting my root, letting the expression come forth from my heart, for me, not for others, all for you, and bring it forward. Gonna find this forward fold now. Your knees could be softened. Some of you may be bringing your hands behind the legs. What's changing right now in both feet? What's changing right now in the muscles in your shins and calves? What's changing in the joint of your knees? What's changing in your abdomen as it's pressing up against your thigh? Good. You're going to bring the hands down. Some of you might want to bring a block down beneath your face. Feet as close together as you can. And that's really just serving to have the legs toward the midline, okay? We are going to be lifting a leg up and back. So the more that you have your foundation in your midline, the more stable you'll be, right? Imagine if I had a table and I had both of these legs here, and if I took this leg away, I had to lean my weight over this standing leg because it just doesn't want to, if I take that leg away, boom, right? It wants to fall. So I'm bringing everything toward the midline, all right? Chest over thumbs, spine nice and flat. I'm going to lift the left leg up. Don't worry about how high it is. Twist the hip open. If you're wishing, start to lift the left arm. It could come up an inch. It could come up 12 inches. It might unfurl up to the ceiling. Breath in. And we'll bring that left hand down, closing the hip, bring the left leg down. Remember, we're going to go flowing through it. Lifting the right leg up and back, breath. What are we feeling? Twist the hip open. Good. You could call it good here. Maybe you lift your hand off the block and take it right back down. Maybe some of you are starting to open it up, twisting a little bit. Maybe you're falling a little bit like I did. Bring the right hand down. Close the hip. Bring that right leg down. Good. Bend the knees. Lift the chest. Hands to prayer chair. And forward fold. Here we go. Nice flat spine. Left leg lifts. Breath in. Feel the right foot. Twist the hip open. What can we feel in that area? Just go with the flow of change. Standing, expression, not perfecting. Left hand coming down, breathing, closing that hip, bringing that left leg down, standing the left foot. What parts of the foot are you using? Feel that leg lifting. Who cares how high? You know that you're off the earth. Twisting that hip, breath. Flow, maybe not flowing. That hand could always just come to your hip. Can you twist the rib cage as well? Good. We'll bring the right hand down. Close the hip. Bring the right leg down. Bend the knees. Both legs on the floor, giving us support. Lifting the chest. What do we see? What do we hear? What do we taste? Coming on forward. Flow. Half flat, nice flat spine. If you need to take a break, take a break. Left leg lifts. Press through that heel. Twist the hip. You choose where you want to go. That left hand can come off the block or no. It can come to the hip or no. Left hand down. I'm trying to remember to moderate. Close that hip. I was already starting to go intense. Bring that left leg down. Fighting against my own tendencies. Lifting that right leg up and back because it doesn't mean it's good for me. Twist that hip open. And moderate. So I'm talking to myself now. This is enough, Belinda. I am enough. My mantra, bringing that right hand down, close the hip, and bring that leg down. But if you know that you always kind of stop short of yourself, you've got a different intention in your practice. Maybe today, maybe moderation is where you need to be as well. If you're having that conversation with yourselves, let's just forward fold here. Deep breath in. I'm going to move the block out of the way. Come down to a seated space. I'm going to bring the bottoms of the feet together. Pressing those inner thighs open. Asking, can the middle of me lift? Can it do the reaching? I don't have to do so much reaching through the arms, through the neck, through my head, through my thoughts. I can reach through the center of me, reaching with my will, reaching with my inner power. Yep, it might feel like it's minimal, but you know there's power, there's guts in there. Breathe in. Exhale, we're going to flow forward and back. What are the hips saying? What are the bones and the flesh of the spine saying? Are they giving permission? Are they asking to slow down so you can really feel what's going on? Good. I'm going to hold here, breathing in, breathing out. You choose. Maybe you want to stay flowing. What loosened up? My low back is really kind of in a little bit of a fight here. For me, my neck is letting go. So some of those upper regions are starting to rely on the bottom regions. And that's cool, right? My midsection, my waist, my hips, they can take more of that load than this upper area. Good. Let's go ahead and come on out a little wide. And breathe in. Let's lift. Exhale over to the side. And up. And over to the side. You can rest here. You can rest this hand here. Kind of keep the chest here. And we're just letting the chest come up and over. Like bread in the toaster. Oh, I started learning how to make bread. I made my first loaf of bread yesterday. Not counting the focaccia I made this summer. All right, woo, distracted brain. Did you watch my little squirrel brain run over there? Breathe. Didn't take much. I said bread in the toaster and then boom, I was off to the races, right? Here we go. Let's come on up to center and hinge forward, bringing it up. I'm going to bring my left foot in. Right hand behind me. And lift. Good. I'm going to bring that down. Straighten that leg. Let's bring that right foot in. Left hand down. When you're ready, maybe you tried to lift and nothing did a lift off. That's cool. We learned something. And maybe as we flow here and accept however much the body wants to give us, breath in. You start to navigate and have that conversation. Hey, waist. Hey, ribs. Do you want to move sideways? Hey, legs, thighs, hamstrings. Are you wanting to stretch? Hey, mind. Where are you? Now y'all know where my mind is, right? Breath. Good. I'm going to come to center. I'm going to hinge. I'm just going to hold my shins now. But if you want your hands out in front of you, cool. Let's do that again. A few flow. Bringing it up. I'm going to bring this left leg in. Right hand down for support. And lift. Good. Bring it down. I'm going to take my left hand now to my right leg. Keeping that left knee up. Notice your hip, your back. Bring it back up. Straighten that leg. Here we go. Right leg. Just flow with it. Left hand for support. Lift. It doesn't have to be that high. What's the right leg doing? What's the left leg doing? What are the arms doing? Bringing ourselves down. Breathe in. Lift up. Exhale. Come on over. And up. Both legs wide. Side to side. And over. And over. How much of the whole length, the entire length of the side of your body, are you experiencing and talking to? You could let those arms go. Remember, these arms could just stay right here. They could stay right here. How fluid is the neck? What's rigid? I'm going to hold here. I'm going to extend the arm. You don't have to. And feel the breath. Feel what's still moving inside of this stillness. And gradually bringing ourselves up I'm going to transition to the middle. And we're just going to flow back and forth. You can be flexing or pointing the toes. Experience everything your legs have to tell you. What is your breath telling you? Do you want your eyes opened or closed? Hold and breathe. And we'll bring ourselves up. Side bend. We're just going to go side and up and over and up and over and hold. Here we go. Find where you want to be. Ooh. Maybe start a mental checklist. Are there areas of the body that you didn't really engage in? You know, the ones that we've really touched, moved, released, lubricated, lengthened, contracted. And bring ourselves up one more time, coming forward. Maybe something's changed. Some of you might want to find a hold here. You might want a pillow right here. Ah. How open does the body want to be? What does being this open make us not be able to hide? Ah. What is absolutely revealed? Can we hold space with that? Or are there parts of us that want to retreat right now? Feel the desire to retreat before you respond to it. Get to know it. Have a conversation. We'll gradually bring ourselves upright. All right, I'm going to invite us to come down onto our back with a supported fish to start. So if you have a block, go ahead, great. Some of you guys know I've already been talking about a yoga egg. It's an oval-shaped block. I am going to use that in my upper back. I want to turn with my back to you for a moment just to kind of show where this will be in my upper back. Okay, I've got a short torso, so it may not be a really good example. But I'd like the top of whatever that is, whether you've got a block or a pillow even, to be right at the top of your shoulder line so that the head can be free. And it is following along my spinal column. And I am going to lower myself down here and let my head come toward the floor. Now, if your head doesn't touch, we don't want it dangling, creating a stress point. So maybe roll up a blanket or put a pillow under your head to give your head some soft support. And then we'll adjust the arms for comfort. Freedom. What is open and unimpeded. And start to surrender to gravity. Feel the flow of the breath. This is enough. Notice your neck and your throat, your collarbone area, in between both shoulder blades, each independent shoulder blade. Is there ease there? How do you know? How do you invite it? How do you ask it for permission for ease? How much ease is your breath experiencing? Does it desire more ease? Does your spirit desire more ease in your breath? Start to notice, is there a discomfort that's growing that you need to respond to? Or can you continue to cultivate ease? If you need to come out or make an adjustment, do so. Have that conversation. Notice emotionally how you're feeling, being this unguarded, this completely unshielded and open within yourself. Not hiding from ourselves and what's truly going on. Don't rip yourselves open. Honor where you are. Be okay with whatever amount of the true you wants to peek out. If you like, bring your hands behind the head, gently lifting the chin up toward the chest. Feel the back of the heart, the muscles along the length of the spine. Being supportive and flexible at the same time. And we'll lower that head down. I'm going to roll over to one side and ease that block out from under me, coming onto the back. Find a few breaths that you need. They can be full and loud. They can be full and quiet. They can be small and quiet. Drawing one knee to the chest, other knee to the chest, wrapping the arms around the knees, maybe forehead up, and lower the head. Arms open wide, letting the knees just gently rock left and right. Fluid. It is what it is. And yet our life force is still within us. We can experience life and go with the flow of it, not fighting against it, and feel safe and whole, accepting everything that we can't change. Breathe. I'm going to roll over to one side and come up to a seated position. Perhaps you want to bring your back to a wall. I'm going to bring one hand to the belly, one hand to my heart, and try to relax as many muscles, as much of that flesh as possible. And let it protrude and be soft and expansive. And I feel the shape of me. The shape of me breathing. The shape of me being a whole container. This is how it's holding me, and still nothing is spilling out. Can I breathe freely in this shape of me? Is this container holding all of my feelings? Have I moved those feelings around so that they're not just accumulating in one area? Have I asked different parts of me to see if they can be a support structure? or a fluid structure. This is enough. I am enough. Remembering to repeat whatever that affirmation or mantra was for you. Single Om if you would wish to join, letting our vibrational energy permeate through our flesh. Basically letting the soul and the spirit kind of emanate its feeling and disperse it through the flesh, feeling the flesh conduct that vibration. Deep breath. Hands to the heart center if you wish to join at the Anjali Mudra. I'm very grateful that my body got to show me how it can hold me together, the parts that I can let go of, ranges of movement and how it makes me feel, letting me know that I am held and contained, finding new ways of expression. All the light and love in me is deeply grateful for the light and love in you. Namaste. I'm Belinda with Just Be Yoga, and this has been our home yoga practice live, hoping to share tips and nuggets of how to piece together a practice at home. Today it was really more about intention and looking at our intention and then observing how the body is moving. We used fluidity, we used repetition, and we used choice into that space. I hope that anything that I've been able to share in my authentic practice with you has been able to help guide you and serve your practice. And may you go forth and share it with others. Peace. Namaste. Feel free to offer a donation if it's in your heart or your pocket, dropping it into the bucket at paypal.me/justbeyoga. Thank you all so much. Where my nugget cats are, let's see here. They're nowhere to be seen. Yep. Sorry, there were no cat appearances today, Claudia and Joe. You are enough, indeed. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day.